In this question from calculus, they ask you to sketch the region enclosed by the given curves. So one of the curves is tangent 7x and the other one is 2 sine of 7x. And it has to be done on the interval between negative pi over 21 and pi over 21. So here I did the graph, and the blue graph, the one right here, is the graph of tangent 7x. So this will be a tangent 7x. And the red one is 2 sine 7x. And then I'm gonna highlight two areas. One is here in yellow, and the other one is gonna be in purple. I have to do two integrations here, one for the bottom one and one for the top one. The point of the interval where I'm going to be looking at them is pi over 21 negative and pi over 21 positive. That's where those two intersect. And you can check it for yourself if you set up tangent 7x is equal to 2 sine of 7x. And solve this equation, move one to the other side and then distribute, replace tangent for sine over cosine, and then solve for the solutions. You will get the intercepts points at x equals to 0 and then plus minus pi over 21. So these are the points that we're looking at where they intercept. So for the bottom, the yellow part or the yellow area, I'm going to have the integral between negative pi over 21 and 0, and the top function is tangent 7x, so I'm going to have tangent 7x, and let's keep it this way, and then I'm going to subtract the bottom function, which is 2 sine 7x. And then I have dx. If I take the integral of the first one, the blue function, or tangent of 7x, I will have the natural logarithm of secant 7x, which is 1 over cosine. And then if I take the derivative of this function, which is the natural logarithm of secant of 7x, I'm supposed to get the function which is tangent 7x. And I'm not going to get this function unless I have 1 over 7 in front. So if you take the derivative of this function now, you will get the same as tangent 7x. Then minus the derivative of the second function is going to be negative, and I will have 2. And then it's going to be cosine of 7x. And again, if you take the derivative of this red function, you would have to get 2 sine of 7x, but I'm not going to get it unless I'm going to have a 7 underneath. And the integral has to be calculated between two limits of negative pi over 21 and 0. So secant of 7x is the same as 1 over cosine of 7x. If I had to plug in a 0 right here, then I would have secant of 7x and 1 over cosine of 0, which is 1. So that would give me a 1. So in this case, when I plug in my 0 first into both equations, or both expressions, I will have 1 over 7. I will have 1 over 7, let's keep it in blue, 1 over 7, and then have natural logarithm, and 1 over cosine of 7x, which is 0, is going to be 1, so I have the natural logarithm of 1, this whole expression becomes a 0. And then for the second part, I will have minus actually will give me positive now, so I will have positive, and then I have 2 over 7 And then it is cosine of 7x, but x is 0, so that is just 0, just 1. So cosine of 0 is 1. And 2 over 7 times 1 is just 2 over 7. And then I have to subtract the second one when I plug in negative pi over 21. And let's look at this part. So if I have the secant of 7x, and that is the same as 1 over cosine of 7x. If I plug in negative pi over 21, so let's see what happens to the cosine when it has 7 times pi over 21. Whether it's positive or negative, because cosine function is even, whether it's positive or negative, it always will give you the answer positive. So that's the same as cosine of pi over 3. And cosine of pi over 3 is 1/2. So now if I plug in negative pi over 21 into logarithm function, I will have 1 over 7. So I have 1 over 7. And then I have the natural logarithm of secant 7x. It's 1 over cosine of 7x, and x is pi over 21. So I have pi over 3. 1 over cosine of pi over 3 is the same as 1 over 1/2, which gives me 2. So I have the natural logarithm of 2. And then I have minus those two negatives again will give me a positive. So that gives me a positive. And then if I plug in pi over 21 for the second function, I will have 1/2. So I will have 2 over 7, and then I have 1/2. And all of that is going to be closed in the brackets. Now let's calculate the final answer. So this part is 0, so I have 2 over 7 minus natural logarithm of 2 over 7 minus, if I cancel a 2 and a 2, 1/7. So the yellow area is going to be equal to 1/7 minus natural logarithm of 2 over 7. So here is my yellow area. So I'm going to call it area 1 is equal to 1 over 7 minus natural logarithm of 2 over 7. And then I have to do the same for the purple area. And I will have the integral from 0 to pi over 21 this time. And then the top function for the purple area is 2 sine of 7x. And the bottom function is the, here it is, tangent of 7x. And all of that dx. Now, if I take the integral of the red function, it's going to be negative. I have 2, and then I will have cosine of 7x. But if you take the derivative of this function, you will not get 2 sine of 7x. You will get a function, you would get 2 sine of 7x if you had a 7 underneath of 2. And then you have minus. And for integral of tangent, we'll get the natural logarithm of secant of 7x, or 1 over cosine. And then again, you only will get the function in the integral if you take this derivative and you had 1 over 7 in front. And we're going to do the integration between 0 and pi over 21, the limits. Now plugging in pi over 21. So if you have to plug in again pi over 21 into cosine of 7x, you would get cosine of 7 pi over 21, which is cosine of pi over 3 and equals to 1/2. So secant, if you had a secant of 7x, it's the same as 1 over cosine of 7x. And if you plug in pi over 3, you would get 1 over 1/2, which is actually 2. So here, if I plug in 7x and x is pi over 21, I get cosine pi over 3, which is 1/2. I have negative 2 over 7 and times 1/2. And then minus. And then for the blue function, I will have 1 over 7. and then natural logarithm and secant of 7x and x is pi over 21 will give me a 2. And then for the second, for 0, if I plug in 0, I will have cosine of 0 is going to be a 1, so I only have negative 2 over 7 times 1. And then minus, I will have 1 over 7 natural logarithm. And again, the secant of 7x is the same as 1 over cosine of 7x. And if x is 0, you have 1 over 1, which is just 1. So you will have the natural logarithm, so 1/7. Let's do it in blue. So you will have 1 over 7 in natural logarithm of 1. And natural logarithm of 1 is 0. So because natural log of 1 is 0, 1/7 times 0 gives me a 0. I can drop that term. And now my final terms will have this and this cancels. I have negative 1 over 7 minus natural logarithm of 2 over 7 and then plus 2 over 7. So the purple function, or area 2, is going to be equal to, so here I have area 2 is equal to 1 over 7 minus the natural logarithm of 2 over 7. And because these two areas are the same, they should be equal to each other, and you see that they are equal to each other. So if I wanted to calculate the area underneath the both curves, or the ones that they asked me, I would have to add area 1 and area 2, and I would get 2 over 7 minus 2 natural logarithm of 2 over 7. So that would be my answer for the question that they asked me.